Hello, race fans. I'm Danny Padilla, and you are chilling with the villain. And today, I'm chilling at the all-new Arrowhead Speedway out here in West Siloam, Oklahoma, out on 412. And next to me is the name, the face, the voice of USRA, and now he has gone to Arrowhead Speedway. He's the general manager here. So if you want to take me through how that all came about, we'll start with that.
Yeah, absolutely. As everybody pretty well knows, Willie Gamble purchased the facility here that used to be Flint Creek Speedway, West Siloam Speedway, and has really transformed this place over the past couple of years. Kind of a slow building process over the past couple of years, but we've really accelerated it here this season, or this past year, getting into this 2023 racing season. And last year, Willie actually asked me to come over and look at the announcer's booth and a couple of other things, the design of the racetrack, and just trying to get input on it. And then as the conversation went on, found a way to make an agreement for me to come be the general manager here, and I'm really looking forward to it. We're putting together a state-of-the-art facility here.
So you're done with USRA, and you're going to be full-time general manager here at the track.
Yes, that's correct. Yep. Ended with USRA there in November. Finished up everything, and just a great opportunity to come here. I'd lived over in the Salina area, used to be at Salina High Bank Speedway, so just a great opportunity to come home. As far as USRA goes, still very much so believe in that brand, believe in the product that Todd Staley and everybody's put together there. Of course, all of our weekly classes will be USRA sanctioned here at Arrowhead Speedway, so definitely looking forward to continuing the relationship with everyone at USRA as well.
Great. I've seen you around the track, and that's how I know you, USRA, so it's going to be hard not seeing you around all the time, but at least I'll know where to find you.
Yeah, absolutely, and looking forward to being here every week, and hopefully we'll see you here plenty as well.
Absolutely. We're definitely going to make the first race. We're building a car for my brother. I've got my modified, so we're all going to be out here for the first opening night. But let's talk about the track a little bit. So this, well, like you said before, was Flint Creek some years ago, and that's when I was. That was right before I started announcing here, and prior to that, it was West Siloam Springs. So when was this track built? When did this get founded?
Yeah, it was the late 1980s. I don't know the specific date. It was funny, a couple racers had come by a couple months ago, and they were talking about the original builder of the place and how they were going to bring him out to enjoy Arrowhead Speedway as well. But late 1980s, and as you know, it's got a long history here. Really a lot of support. Unfortunately, just kind of faded there for whatever reason in later in its life before it kind of reborn here to be Arrowhead Speedway. But great fan base around here, great group of drivers in this eastern Oklahoma area as well as northwest Arkansas, and we're really excited to again bring Arrowhead Speedway to everybody here in 2023.
I'd like to say that you resurrected West Siloam Speedway, but actually it's kind of right the opposite. You annihilated it. You wiped it completely out. Everything is gone. I know the track is in a similar location, but everything's gone. So this is a brand new baby for you guys.
Yeah, when Willie originally got the place, they started working on some things and trying to figure out, hey, let's use this, let's use that, let's change this, and ultimately it came down to, if you want to do it right, realistically, everything needed replaced, and that's exactly what he did. And then in doing that, he didn't cut any corners going forward. As you've seen here today, and as many you'll see over the coming months going into the season, like you said, completely rebuilt. Track shape and size fairly similar to what it was, but like you said, even that's been expanded out to hopefully make it race a little bit wider than it used to be as well. But yeah, it's completely revamped. Nothing really original here besides the location itself, I guess. And it's kind of a neat situation to be in because, again, we mentioned there's that fan base in this area, there's drivers in this area that are really excited to come back out, so it's got that history right there and people that are ready to go. But then at the same time, it's also brand new as well, so we're very excited about that.
Well, I'm definitely going to be making the drive. It's almost exactly an hour away from me, and I've got tracks that are closer, but I'm pretty excited to see what you guys got going on here. The facility is just second to none. It seems like you guys have really taken the time to figure things out and worked hard at accomplishing it. Yes, the track is kind of in the same spot, but let's not kid anybody. This thing is, I believe, 75 foot wide in the turns now. I think that's what I walked off when I was here about a month ago. Is that about accurate?
Yeah, I think we've brought that up a little bit now, possibly to 65. I can't remember. Of course, they're still out there shaping it right now, but we'll be right in that 65 to 70 foot range. So it's definitely wide. I think it's still yet a little bit narrower down into turns 3 and 4 than in 1 and 2. But yeah, we've widened this thing out. That's really what I like as well. These short tracks that are also wide enough to move around on. So I'm really excited to see how this place races.
So I know we're still early on. You haven't even opened yet, which is coming up in a couple of months. Where do you guys see yourself with this track? What are your goals for the upcoming seasons? Just talk about what you want to see accomplished here.
Yeah, it's kind of a two-prong approach for me. I'm really excited to build the weekly racing program here at Arrowhead Speedway. I think this area, is primed to go. There's been a lot of successful weekly racing programs in this area, but we're excited to build on that as well. So we want to have a good, consistent weekly following. Friday nights feels like the most natural fit with, 3 Saturday night racetracks right within an hour and a half of us. So we feel like we'll fit really good on Friday night to build that weekly program. But with the type of facility we're building as well, we want to have some marquee events to really showcase this place. And we've kind of, I feel like, got a good initial start with the 2023 schedule. There were maybe a few things we could have done that were bigger or more aggressive, but I wanted to make sure that we were ready to take those on. And ultimately, the goal is to have several national touring series roll through this facility. But as far as this year going forward, we're kind of, getting in with some regional late model races. We do have a national sprint car show with the ASCS, USMTS races as well. So kind of a good blend of special events to get started, but I could see us trying to build several crown jewels moving forward, but also never losing focus of the weekly racing program.
That's going to be great for this area because I know when I was out here, it did draw a crowd. I don't think it's going to be anything like what it's going to be. I think even you guys will be shocked of the support you guys are going to get. I know that you guys are really catching steam on social media, and that's kind of what brought me here. I was here about a month ago just to drive through and see it, and everybody had been talking about it, so I just took the drive. Yeah. I took a tour and looked things around, and I just can't believe it. Yeah. I mean, it just isn't something. This isn't something that happens every day, and I'm excited for you guys. And man, what an accomplishment you guys have got here. So what is 2023 going to look like for you guys?
Yeah, so we'll get things kicked off. April 14th is going to be our season opener with our weekly racing program. Our weekly racing program is going to consist of USRA modifieds, USRA stock cars, USRA B mods, and USRA tuners. Those are the 4 classes that will race here weekly. Again, kickoff mid-April. We'll have a couple practices leading up to that on March 31st and April 7th. Our weekly program, there's 18 track points races, Arrowhead Championship Series events is what we're calling that. 18 of those races. The modifieds are only at 15 of those just because when the sprint cars are here, late models are here, some of the modifieds will get the weekends off. But 18 track points races for the other classes. That's what the weekly program looks like. 2 Comp Cam Super Dirt Series super late model events. Very excited for those. That'll be the first touring series that races here at Arrowhead Speedway, May 19th for the Comp Cam Super Dirt Series, and they'll come back a little bit later on in August. Got a couple wing sprint car shows. Oil Capital Racing Series will be here Memorial Day weekend, and then the ASCS National Tour will be here Labor Day weekend. Sprinkled in some modified specials with the American Racer Modified Series in June, and then that USMTS event, the Army Contractors All-American at the end of the year.
That's right.
And we got bold with that one. 3,000, 5,000, and 10,000 is the normal structure now for the USMTS races, and that in and of itself is a big purse. And Willie said, what can we do to make that thing 20,000 to win on Saturday, just because 10,000 to win is kind of a regular Saturday night show now for USMTS. And we were fortunate to get a lot of help from Army Contractors to make that more feasible for us. I'm really excited for that weekend. It's a 3-day show, a crown jewel that we're going to try to build here and really grow into something. It's more of an investment into the racing program here than anything. So those are some of the events that we got coming up for 2023. Of course, the tuners as well, they're going to get a shot at some big money.
That's right. I seen that.
Yeah.
I seen that post where they're going to pay $10,000 to win, right?
Yeah.
So explain, I didn't hear about tuners until last year. So I don't recognize the name, and I'm sure there's other people out there like me that don't know what a tuner is. So since we're talking about a $10,000 to win tuner race, explain to us what a tuner car is, and the qualifying, what's it going to take to qualify? So I know already, because I already know what it is. You can't you're not going to buy a tuner and come out here and steal the money. You're not going to get Rodney Sanders out here or somebody like that that's just going to come and take the money. So why don't you break down that particular race for us?
Yeah, so the USRA tuner class is basically it's just a stock front wheel drive. There's a couple things you can do, race and fuel cell, a few other things to make it more of a race car, but it's the true entry level class that you can go out and actually get a car from a salvage yard now. So stock front wheel drive cars. You mentioned the qualifying process for the Battle of the Buzz race, that 10,000 to win race that we're having here at Arrowhead Speedway. So essentially anybody that doesn't have a feature win in the past couple of seasons could come run that race. But anybody that's won anything higher than, whether it's a Hornet, tuner, anything that's a front wheel drive, anything higher than that, you must have run 10 events in the 2023 racing season in a tuner or comparable division to say that, okay, this guy is a tuner driver. He's committed to running the class weekly, so that there's no cherry picking or anything like that, so to speak. So that's if you want to race in 2022 or 2023 and anything that can be considered higher than a tuner, you will have to have 10 shows in 2023 to be eligible to run that race.
Will that be 10 shows here or 10 shows anywhere?
10 shows anywhere. My race pass makes it really simple anymore for us to kind of dig into to who's running those cars now. Everything will be pre-entry coming in, so we'll be able to check and look, and then we'll dive a little bit deeper than that if we have to as well. Ultimately, with that being a front-wheel drive 4-cylinder type class, 10,000 to win is a big payday. Maybe we won't see as much of that type of stuff, but we're going to keep an eye on it because it truly is intended for those tuner drivers and the people that are ultimately going to support that class.
Good deal. So with me being a modified driver, you particularly spoke about the USMTS and it paying not 10,000, but having a 3-day show with a Saturday night show of 20,000 to win.
Yes, yep, that's correct. $20,000 and $23 for the Army Contractors All-American. We're really excited about that. That's Saturday, October 14th. It'll pay $3,000, $5,000 to win on the Thursday and Friday leading up to that. I would have to double check now that I'm thinking about it, but it's $700 or $800 to start that feature on Saturday. So right in that ballpark as well. It's quite a big purse on Saturday.
That's going to be a pretty big show, that's for sure. So I noticed that you guys brought in black clay. That's not a lot of things you see at a lot of tracks anymore. Everybody's kind of went to red dirt. So explain to us why you guys went to the dark clay versus the red clay, and what kind of track surface are you guys wanting to accomplish here?
Yeah, ultimately looking for smooth and slick. That's the goal, and with us trying to go with slicker racetracks, the dust control with a black clay, a black gumbo type racetrack is a lot easier to accomplish than the red clay that you'd typically seen here. So they're a lot more comfortable working in that. I think it's going to produce a really good racing surface. We were extremely blessed when we found this stuff. It's actually, I believe a month or two ago is kind of when it was discovered, then had to wait on a job to begin to actually pull it out of the ground, but it was well worth the wait. We were sitting there trying to find stuff, going different places, looking here and there, trying to find the right stuff, and then we found this, and like I told you off camera kind of before we talked, if you can find a rock out there in it right now, it's been drugged to the racetrack because this stuff was as pure as anything I've ever seen. It was a complete blessing when we saw them digging that stuff up, but that's kind of been the reasoning there. Again, Willie and all the crew just feel like we can produce the type of racetrack that we want to a lot better with this black gumbo type clay. Keep as much moisture in it as we can, but also harden it up to where it'll slick off and produce some good racing.
So you hear him mentioning Willie. That's Willie Gamble. He's the track owner here, and he's the one that's had this vision and has created this track over the last couple of years. And I would like to probably just this past year, it's really gone hard. Really has progressed to the point to where they're ready to put some cars on the track. And they are literally working on the track right behind my camera. They're working on the track right now, and we're not even anywhere close to racing yet. So it's good to see that, and it looks smooth as glass, but that's going to be something you guys will have to see at a later date.
Yeah, along those same lines right there, Wayne, once we said this stuff went on the racetrack, Wayne was going to live out here, and so far he's done just that. We didn't even quite get it maybe as early as we wanted to, but it's coming around nicely and even quicker than I'd imagined. So yeah, that's ultimately the goal at the end of the day. obviously got a nice facility here. A lot's been invested into it, but we got to get the racetrack right, and that's what Wayne's going to focus on. We got all the faith in the world in him, and as you can see, a couple other people already out here
Right.
helping him make that possible.
So Wayne is a guy you guys hired to do just track prep.
Yep. Wayne Myrick. He's so anybody that's been familiar with Flint Creek Speedway or West Siloam Speedway before, if you come to this place and see all the dirt work that's been done behind us in the pit area, as well as off to the north side, the big ravine that used to be over there outside
right.
of turns 3 and 4, all that's been brought up and filled in. Every bit of dirt work leading up to this point, and now the dirt work on the racetrack. Wayne's headed all that up, and he's done a great job.
So you guys have got a brand new wall, brand new fence, brand new bleachers, brand new concrete. You've got asphalt in the pits,
Yeah.
and it's going to be followed up, like you had told me off camera, to they're going to have concrete pads
Yep.
on top of that. And believe it or not, folks, he has laid sod down everywhere. This man has spared no expense. Behind me, on the other side of the track, we're on the pit side, of course. So on the spectator side, there's a huge area for parking. And I remember from back in the day, it was just gravel, just kind of dirt, got dusty, got muddy from the rain. When you go over there, you're going to be parking your car on fluff. It has all been sodded. So, I mean, there's sod out by the street. There's sod in the parking lot. There's sod in the pits.
Yep.
Why spend the expense to put sod down when we're just going to run it all over?
Yeah, ultimately it was curb appeal. I think just making the place look nice all the way around was goal number one with that. And then, getting as much of it as pleasant to park on as possible, covering up as much rock as possible, getting as much rock away from this place as possible. So that was part of that as well. But yeah, just making the place look nice, something that everybody will appreciate and be proud to come to. And I think there's going to be more sod coming. It's going to be right in front of us. He's talked about some sod down in the infield as well to really make that stand out, make that racetrack look good. And yeah, he's just wants a nice facility here. So that's kind of the direction he went with it.
So when he said that there's going to be sod right in front of us, right behind my camera, there's probably about 50 feet between the concrete pad and the fence wall, and he's talking about sodding all of that so people have a soft area, clean area to walk on. So
yeah, and infield as well. Yeah,
the infield is going to be sod as well.
Yeah, to really make that stand out, and so that's at least what's been talked about, and I think there's been some sod dropped off to start that as well. So yeah, that'd be very nice.
So we had talked earlier. We've talked about the track, and you said that the hot pit area is going to be the infield. So it's going to be nice to know that my guys aren't going to get their feet dirty when they step out there to change a tire.
Yeah, there you go. They'll be hanging out down in the greenery down in the infield. But yeah. So hot pit area is going to be down there. I don't know. I think we're going to start out with more or less kind of a temporary situation on the hot pit. Have some jersey barriers down there that can be moved, just to kind of see how things work out. So that we don't pour a pad and commit to anything that ultimately isn't going to work out very well. But I'm going to try to control the traffic as much as possible down into that hot pit area. But that's really the most practical place for us to be able to do it. We've got one entry and one exit to the racetrack over in turn 4, and the distance around and anywhere else we really couldn't make that hot pit area work. So we'll have it right down there in the infield.
Okay, so spectator side, talk to me about what's going on over there and what your goal is going to be before you guys open. I've seen a lot of construction going up and a lot of things that have already done. So why don't you explain to the folks what they're going to expect when they get here?
Yeah, like you kind of touched on, brand new grandstands right now. Seat backs on all of the seating over there on the grandstand side, and there's even a contour, and I'm sure you can.
I noticed that it's a huge difference.
Yeah, it's I'm not already stretching out and ready to get up.
That's
right.
Right.
So these bleachers are very nice as well. Got the same thing over on that side. The suites up behind them, those will be available for folks to rent that want to be inside. But the majority of the construction you see going on over there right now as you pulled in is actually the building area that the ticket booths will be housed in, the concession stand, merchandise, and restrooms. So I'll kind of touch on the design of that right now. So the building's pretty well going to span the entire distance of the grandstand area over there. And you'll enter in the center of it. There'll be a breezeway. To one side, there'll be an indoor concession area that everybody can walk into. And then the other side, like I said, we'll have merchandise and kind of see how else we can utilize that space there. And then on both sides of the grandstand, north side and south side, there'll be restrooms for both men and women. So there'll be restrooms on each side of the grandstand.
So he kind of thought of everything then.
Yeah.
I mean, so you don't got to walk too far.
Yep.
That's going to be great for people who just, had too much to drink or just too old to get around. Having restrooms everywhere. We're used to, finding one restroom and waiting in line, so it's going to be nice to have 2 different places to go.
Yeah, everything that he and I have talked about is trying to figure out how to make it as efficient as possible. He said, I absolutely hate lines, and that's every bit of design that we go into this place has gone into this place has been trying to make it as efficient as possible so people don't say, man, I missed that whole feature standing in the concession or wait in the bathroom, whatever it is. And we know undoubtedly, especially those early weeks as everybody kind of gets used to their roles and hopefully the place is really busy, that there will be some of that backup until we figure out really how to manage it. But I can't even begin to count the hours that have gone into setting and just thinking about, hey, if we start putting lines of people here, how can we make this move as quickly as possible so that everybody has a good experience?
All right, so if I rent a pit box up there, not a pit box, but a booth up there, that's going to be a long walk going down them steps and going to the bathroom.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about that, though.
We don't?
Yeah.
Why?
Every single suite that we've got up there has got their own restroom. So
it isn't so.
You don't even have to leave. You can, and you enjoy some reserved seating on the outside. So if you need to get some fresh air, the top row is going to be dedicated to suites. But yeah, something that's really nice and really, that's worth it for me alone when I go to the Dome in St. Louis, is having that restroom up there in the suite area that I don't have to share with everybody at least. But that's a really nice amenity there. And as you mentioned, it is, it's a little bit of a walk, but once you get there, you can pretty well stay there. We're going to try to have some attendance to those suites possibly as well. But yeah, restrooms just one of the many amenities for the suite holders. And you slipped up and said pit box, right? Well, we will have them on this side too. They're just not up there yet.
Oh, okay. So now that we've talked about that side, let's talk about this side. So what do we get? First of all, before I change, how many people are you going to be able to seat over there?
I believe the capacity's around 3,000, 3,500, something in that neighborhood.
Okay, so now we can talk about pit side. So why don't you tell us a little about what we're going to expect when we get here for pit side?
Yeah. So like I said, we'll have those pit suites as well. Those are pretty much set up as the same on the other side. But I mean, the first thing obviously you're going to notice is you're rolling in on pavement, right? You don't have to drive around rocks, anything like that. We will have a gravel pit area. Just because the pit
overflow.
Yeah, the pit area here behind us that's paved going to accommodate right around 80 cars. So obviously we hope and think in the early stages we might be exceeding that. So there'll be an overflow pit that's gravel. It's still going to be a nice smooth pit area. So the pits there are very nice. We're going to try to have as many people down at that pit gate as possible, just being this close to the highway, to get everybody in and set up. Driver check-in's going to be away from the pit shack, so you're not doing all that right there and kind of jamming everybody up. You can get parked, you can come up here, sign in. Of course, the restrooms are centered up right behind the grandstands here. We just got the 2 restrooms, the men's and the women's here, right at the center of the grandstands, and we'll have a entire pit concession right over here as well. But realistically, aside from the seat backs, same type of grandstands that are on the front side as well. So nice area here for the folks that want to come enjoy the pits as well.
Great. So if I'm here on the pits and I've got some people I want to put up, maybe a sponsor or somebody I want to put up in a pit box, are they going to have to walk to the restrooms too over here?
They are not. Nope. We'll have restrooms in those as well. It's all out, man. We're going all into it and trying to make it as accommodating as possible for everybody. And yeah, we've been getting a lot of attention from race car drivers about those suites, because like you said, get some sponsors in them, treat them to a good night at the races. And that's, and we're going to do that as well. Obviously we hope to rent out everything we can annually, but we're also going to keep one suite on the grandstand side, one suite on the pit side open, so we can rotate in some sponsors, or if somebody wants to rent that on kind of a one-off basis, that'll be available as well. But fortunately, really good feedback on those suites as well, so we're excited to start filling those up also.
So when you build something like this, it's easy to be proud of it. I really like how you guys got the walls built to where they're not going to be real easy to climb. You're not going to be up into the fence and possibly tear things up that way. Looks like something you might be able to bounce off of. Who knows? We'll find out. Yeah. But I really like how high up they are, and like I said, it's so easy to brag about a track when you put so much thought into it, and without taking away from any other racetrack, because I'm a racer and I'm not about bad talking anyone, but this facility is unbelievable. I mean, I could show you pictures if I wanted to, but they're not going to do you any justice, and they're not ready for pictures yet. They've got some things that they want to do, so they want to have a grand opening there. So I'm not going to show you pictures, but take my word for it. This place is amazing. If you want to find a nicer track in this area, I think that you'll probably have to go to, I would say Lucas Oil Speedway maybe, or Texas Motor Speedway, because you're not going to find anything nicer than the facility that they've built here. And that doesn't take away from anybody. It just shows how proud they are, how much work and time and effort they've done to put into this track just to accommodate, like he said, a weekly show, plus bring some big name races in here. And I'm excited. I just can't wait to get out here when it's all up and running. So, man, what an undertaking. It's amazing.
Yeah, and we've still definitely got a long way to go, and you're right. Willie's invested into the facility like this. Now it's up to all of us, Wayne with the racetrack, me with the operations, Willie with the operations as well, to do things right when it comes time to do them. It's on us. We'll have the facility to showcase, and we've got a lot of great people already getting behind us. It's been pretty humbling, really, whether it's marketing partners, that have jumped on this early in the game with us. Really excited to welcome them on. That just makes the experience better for everybody, and even some of the people that have already committed to come work here on Friday nights. It's going to take those people.
Right.
It's going to take a great group of people. Ultimately, that's what it's going to have to happen, is have a great group of people that are behind it. And fortunately, we've already got that going in our favor. So just looking forward to welcoming everybody. Ultimately, the goal, like I said, weekly races and special events, but really at the end of the day, the true goal, man, is that everybody comes out here and has as fun of a time as possible. We don't need to be doing this stuff if it's not fun, ultimately. So that's what our goal is at the end of the day, and not going to be able to 100% accomplish that, right?
Right,
with everybody.
exactly.
But man, that at the end of the day, that's the thought process that's gone behind it. I mean, he sat over there and looked. He said, these seat backs are nice, right? He's like, this is really cool. Contour the seats. And he's like, what about the people that are used to bringing lawn chairs out here, or this or that? Or he's like, maybe we can do lawn chair seating here or there. So I mean, he's thought about everybody that you can think about. That's what he said. He said, I know some of my family members, they go to events and they have to have their clip-on chair. They like
That's
that
right.
instead of the seat back. So I mean, every perspective that we can take into account, we certainly have in trying to prepare for this year. And ultimately there'll be some things that we got to learn along the way, but I think we'll be as ready as anybody to hit the ground running and have a good show.
Sounds good. So is this going to be a hamburger hot dog type of place, or do you guys have anything special going on with the food?
Yeah, we're trying to find maybe a niche. I don't know what it is quite yet. I've got a really good concession manager that's kind of just wrapped up, so she's got a lifetime of experience in the restaurant industry, and she's going to be able to head up the concessions for us. I think we're starting with kind of more of a traditional menu, like you said, the hamburgers, hot dogs, some things like that, chicken tenders, fries. We'll offer as much as we can to start out, but I think we'll try to get our feet underneath us before we get too carried away with it, right?
Right.
We don't need to get way out in front of our abilities there to start out, but I could see it growing into a bigger menu and maybe having some specialty items in the front in the future. But starting out with more of the traditional dirt track menu.
I would not be surprised had you told me you're putting a Starbucks in. This place is just amazing.
Don't say that too loud.
Right,
Willie,
exactly.
Willie
give them an idea,
yeah.
right? Don't give them any more ideas.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the pay. I did notice. Well, of course, I paid attention to the modifieds more than anything. So you're paying $750 to win, which is a little bit more than the average around this area. And what are you going to do for the rest of the classes?
Yep. So we're $750 to win, $100 to start for the USRA modifieds. There's some places that do have really aggressive payouts for that class. We found kind of a happy medium that we think is going to be feasible. I understand wholeheartedly how expensive those cars are to operate, so we put absolutely as much into that purse as we possibly could on our end. The USRA B-Mod payout's really competitive as well, especially for a Friday night racetrack. $500 to win, $70 to start for the USRA B-Mods. USRA stock cars are $400 to win, $60 to start. That's pretty comparable to like the super stock payouts that are in this area, or the stock car payout at Tri-State. Right. And we may be able to bring that up just kind of as we see how the class develops. And then the tuners will be $200 to win, $30 to start. Pretty solid, weekly payout again. I know that this stuff gets more expensive by the day. You know, the inflation hits racing just like it hits anything else.
It's okay, Bryce. We're not doing it for the money. So you'll be all right.
So there's got to be enough of a return in it for everybody that, you know, that keeps people coming ultimately, right? We can't starve everybody out, but we also got to set it reasonable from the beginning so that, you know, that it can function on our side, and then we're not going backwards with the payout if we find out something doesn't work
That's
out.
right. So another thing, I mean, I can just talk about this place forever, but let's talk about the lighting. The lighting is insane. I mean, it's going to be like daylight. I mean, is that what you're expecting to see? Like,
yeah,
every bit of this is going to be lit up.
Yeah, I'm ready to see it come to. That's one of the things as far as pre-race season. I'm ready to see more than anything is the lights, and then I'm ready to get up there and play with that iPad because we've got the accent lighting to complement the LED lights that we've got, so we can put on some light shows, kind of like Knoxville Raceway did. So,
oh wow! So I hadn't been in Knoxville. I don't know anything about that, but that sounds pretty awesome. I'm gonna be looking forward to that.
Yeah. So I gotta get up there and make sure I know what I'm doing on the iPad before that thing starts taking off in the middle of a race or something.
All right.
But no, it's brand new Musco lighting, same as Knoxville Raceway, and yeah, it's you know, it's all engineered, so it's going to be prepared to really light this place up.
So, looking around, if I had to pick something out, like anybody would, it would be a scoreboard. Are you guys got any ideas for a scoreboard or a replay monitor of any kind here? Have you guys talked about that?
Yeah, we have. So I think that's going to be more of a second phase project, just where we're at right now as far as, you know, getting everything up and running that we need. And the reason we haven't just gone ahead and committed to, you know, a 5-position pylon, 10-position pylon, whatever, and went ahead and jumped into that and had something, because we do know that people like to see that, is we are trying to decide what exactly we're going to do permanently, you know. So there are some big plans there to figure out what we're going to put in, what that looks like. It's just quite an investment, so we're kind of in between there. When it comes up, it's going to be, you know, it could be really great. So that's where we're at. And, you know, the nice thing about it, not to undersell the scoring pylons, because we want to see them as well, because it adds the facility. But I mean, everybody's got the timing on their phones right there now with My Race Pass and things like that. So that most everybody, you know, so that. Yeah, that'll make the difference there. But yeah, master plan. I think we'll have something. We'll just have to see what it ultimately ends up being.
All right. Well, it's been nice talking to you, Bryce. It's good to see you again. I got to see you off season, which is something that never happens. Before we close this out, is there anything else you want to add that we didn't talk about? I know that we didn't talk about how wide the entrance was for the pits. It's almost like NASCAR style. It's wide open. So what do you have for us entering in there?
Yeah, so coming in the pit area will be, so there's it's actually 4 lanes wide. We'll leave at least 1 lane open to exit. But again, like I mentioned, we're going to have as many people down there at the pits to get everybody in here. That's the goal. So yeah, it'll be, you know, at least 2, obviously it'll depend on staffing, but at least 2, maybe 3 people down there that are meeting people at their cars with the waiver, handling all that right there. Because again, nobody has to get out to draw or check in. We'll still have to have a pit shack for anybody that drives up and parks, you know, with a non-tow vehicle or credentials, things like that. So there'll still be a pit shack over there, but a lot of that point of sale coming into the pit area going to happen right there to everybody's vehicles, so they can just drive in, get their bands, and go. So that's why we've made that so wide, again, is to keep as much off of the highway as possible.
So remind everybody when they need to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. March 31st and April 7th are the first 2 practices here at Arrowhead Speedway. April 14th, our season opener, all 4 weekly classes, the USRA Modifieds, USRA Stock Cars, USRA B-Mods, USRA Tuners. I should say Ameriflex USRA B-Mods. That's been the first class sponsor that we got sold.
Right on.
Need to mention that as well. Corvin done a great job there, looking for the rest of the class sponsors. But yeah, April 14th, place to be right here, Arrowhead Speedway. Website's up and running, arrowheadspeedway.com, and of course we're all over social media as well.
That's right. This has been a major takeoff over social media. This place has been talked about on every site you can practically get on. Arrowhead Speedway, Arrowhead Speedway, Arrowhead Speedway. We are on Highway 412.
Yeah.
How far from the about 6 miles is it?
Yep, 5.5 miles from the Oklahoma-Arkansas line. We're just obviously just west of the state line here.
All right. I'm Danny Padilla. I'm with Bryce Hall. We'll see you at the track.